What a game. What a crazy game. Newcastle with Liverpool. We are used to this. Going back to Sprilla, Shearer days, Collymore, Barnes, Fowler, and now we are in Gamoa. What a match. So much to talk about. We knew we were going to Lions Den. We knew Newcastle would be up and ready for this game, and we were not disappointed. Performance, let's talk about that. Lots of it to talk about. Performances, poor performances, the crowd, things going on the pitch, the results, and Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer. We'll chop this up after this. What a game. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We expected this. We knew that Liverpool going to Lions Den. We knew that St James's Park would actually be one of the most crazy atmospheres going. One thing you do not dispute is Newcastle fans at their ground. Wow. It almost rivals Anfield. Almost, I say. But Liverpool knew what's coming with the midfield of Tonali, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton. Tenacity is the word. Quality less so, but tenacity is everything. And with the midfield for Liverpool of Gravenberch, Wirtz and Jones, it was going to be a challenge. And so it was. It showed in the game. We are used to these games. As I mentioned in the introduction, we've had games with Collymore scoring last minute goals, Fowler, Asprilla, Shearer. Fantastic games against Newcastle's high scoring goals. High scoring. Liverpool have not lost in the last 17 games against Newcastle. I think it's something like 12 wins and 5 draws. So, you know what, it's one of those ones, is the record book's going to continue the way it is or going to be changed? With the Isaac situation, it clearly was going to be the case that this was going to be emotional. Newcastle are going to be up for this. They were up for it. They'll see Liverpool as the enemy. They'll see Liverpool as doing all dirty kind of stuff because they can't show their frustrations to Isaac. Things like get at them from the banners on the crowd and also from the senior leadership in terms of the board, stating stuff on social media in terms of getting them, was stoking up the flames for the game. Now, let's get to the game. Look. Lineups, did we expect anything different from Liverpool? No, I think we expected that. So Bosley right back, Kirkez left back, Konate centre, Virgil centre, Gravenberch back after having a baby, congratulations, Wirtz and Jones. Okay, come to that in a minute. Gakpo, Ekitike and Salah. I don't think we'd expected anything different really in terms of the players that we got. And Newcastle would expected, in terms of the strike force, Elanga and Gordon. We knew Gordon probably played that false 9, and then obviously we'd have Barnes on the other side. It was always going to be a challenge about pace. The top 2 sprinters so far in the season has been Gordon and Elanga, and against Liverpool with a potential high line, it was always going to be a danger. It's going to always be a tactic they'll use. So look, in the game that we saw, Liverpool took the lead, 1-0, Gravenberch finished 32 minutes. But let's not skip over what happened before that. What happened before that was constant Newcastle pressure. Constant Newcastle pressure, which actually made Liverpool difficult at times to get out of our own bloody half. Every time you just turn around, there's another cross. There's a cross coming from Elanga, which has just been missed. Now, look, be clear, be honest, be truthful. If they had a striker like Isaac, he probably just scored a couple of goals before we even had time to start cooking. And that is a concern about defending. Defending at the moment is a big worry. If we defend like this throughout the whole season, we'll have a big problem. We can't. It has to be sorted. I've even talked about it in my social media groups that I'm on, at local ones, where I've actually been critical of Konate. Konate, I said at the pre-season in one of my posts, he needs to have a big season. He needs to step up. He needs to step up and take authority. He needs to step up and show that he's got the quality. He's improved, breaking the lines, on the ball. Also his focus, because he loses his attention a lot. He gets distracted in games. Sometimes he's too heavy-handed in his tackling and the way he actually tries to tackle. And he needs to improve this to show that he can take over Virgil. I believe with the PSG thing that's going on in Real Madrid, he's got distracted. I feel his attention has been taken, and he's showing in pre-season performance and in current performances. He's not currently showing me that he should be starting for Liverpool, and the Guehi situation is going to be something that people will talk about more and more, because I feel that they want that another centre-back. We've also got the young Italians come across. It'll be nice to see what happens with him. He's only 18. Konate is in danger of being dropped if he doesn't step up. Virgil's having to do too much work. Yesterday we had Szoboszlai on the right hand side and Kerkez, and at times Kerkez as well was exposed. At times the first goal that they scored, Kerkez's fault. He should have went for a header, he didn't. So look, 32 minutes in, and it was probably about 70% possession, 8% possession Newcastle. Liverpool could not string passes together. Salah couldn't get the game worked, although he was available and was constantly moving, was never receiving the ball in a position where he could actually penetrate and actually keep the game ticking, keep the play moving. We kept having to go backwards towards Alisson, and sometimes I was really worried Alisson will actually basically hold the ball too long and get tackled or blocked and stuff like that. It just wasn't Liverpool, but it was what we needed for the moment. 9 fouls, I believe we did in the first 30 minutes, the highest in our Premiership record. That actually shows, contradicts to what people say, that Liverpool actually were battling. Liverpool did battle in this game. Liverpool did meet fire to fire. At times we won, at times we didn't, but at times what it did was disrupt our play. It disrupted our normal passing game, which we normally have, and it took a little bit of time before we got that back. Gravenberch got the ball in their half, shimmied it a couple of times and hit a lovely ball through the legs of Guimaraes, took the deflection, and in, keeper had no chance. Unbelievable, 1-0 up against the run of play. And we'll be fair and honest, that was a fact. I think the whole game Liverpool had 5 shots, which is like the least under Slot's tenureship. We couldn't control the match, and that continued throughout the whole. There was little spells, but generally we didn't control the game. And this has been concerned from the start of the season. Look, it's always good to reflect on things, and we don't want to be overly critical. But when you look at things holistically, you need to look at, okay, we just started the season, this has been going on since pre-season, we need to get fixed to this, because if we don't, there's going to be dangers of dropping points, and in a league that's going to be pretty tight with teams like Chelsea, Newcastle and Arsenal really showing their intentions, and Tottenham actually showing themselves to be a dark horse. We need to have that consistency in defending. Too many goals conceded now. That's 4 goals conceded, I believe, now in 2 games. It's a big worry. And then when you look at the Community Shield as well, that's a big problem that Liverpool need to stop, and stop the rot quickly. Is it going to be number 6 needed? Is it going to be Guehi coming in? I don't think that necessarily fixes the problem. It's going to be the whole of Liverpool. It's always defending from the front, the midfield and the defence. So it's a whole collective, and at times it looks like things are disjointed just a little bit. So Wirtz is dropping in, and he's dropping in, Ekitike is dropping into the same position. Sometimes it looks like it's just not clicking. It may take time. Salah was not also visible so much in the game. Salah wasn't able to get hold of the ball because they're man-to-man mark all over the pitch, and we knew that was going to be the case. So look, second half starts, and look, before even the coach can actually get to the bench, Ekitike scores the second goal. Unbelievable, in off the post, excellent. 2-0 up, more than we deserve, more than we can believe. At this point, we've had Gordon sent off, a tackle which, when he came in, I said straight away red. When I saw yellow, I was like, unbelievable. How can you get that as a yellow? Obviously, when you slow it down and look at it, you can see how bad it was. I had concerns that this Virgil done. I was worried that we're going to see another Pickford situation where he's out for ages because of a crazy tackle. And look, I don't believe Gordon meant it. We know he's a Liverpool fan. So I don't believe meant it, but he got caught up in a situation. I believe the coaching and what was required by the coach in terms of leave one on the players, like we saw in Wirtz the first sort of 5 minutes. Trippier left one on Wirtz, and he sort of went into his shell for a lot of the game. Ekitike had battles, and he did not scoff on the battle. He was battling all the way through the game. Yeah, he did not care, and I love that. But what thing he didn't lose his temper, he didn't lose composure. He's trying to push him around. There's one bit with Joe Linton pushing him, Gimres pushing him, and he puts his hands up. He does, okay, no worries, I'm going to do nothing. Love that. Get back in the saddle and keep on attacking them, keep on getting the free kicks, keep on disrupting the defenders. However, we were disjointed throughout the game. 10 men, 2-0 at Kite. You think that would take control of the game? No, we didn't. It was then, you could see it happening. When I see Slot's team, like last season, we like to control the game. It's all about control. And sometimes I used to complain about it's a bit boring, like the defenders will hold the ball too long to make the attackers come at them. I felt that in this game with a man up, we need to move the ball quickly and have more width. And what we saw was Kirkes tucking inside a little bit, not being his natural position that he would be born with, which is a bit further up. And also we saw Szoboszlai tucking in. So we were very narrow. We didn't use the width of the pitch to make that extra man count. And that, over a sort of 5-minute, 10-minute period, helped them keep in the game. When they got the equaliser, because Kirkes didn't go for the header when he should have, he tried to beat it back for Mahrez. That was just silly. It shouldn't have been a goal. We shouldn't have conceded it. We did, and that gave them hope. And you kind of felt like, something's brewing. They've got extra energy. They're now keeping us in our box. We can't get out. We got 11 men. What the hell's going on? And just like we saw against Crystal Palace, just like we saw in pre-season, not so against Bournemouth as well, not controlling the game when we should control the game. And the game, like 15-20 minutes where we just totally been dominated. That's the game what happened here, and it's something that can't keep being repeated, because if we repeat against another team, we could be punishing out of a game before you know it. So hopefully they'll work on this at the training ground. But Konate kept making mistakes. When he receives the ball at the back, he doesn't distribute it. He can't break the lines. He keeps turning back and giving it to goalkeeper when actually opportunities that should break the lines. Okay, fair enough. Maybe at times he didn't have that visible pass. Wirtz wasn't maybe in a position. Even though Wirtz was making great runs, he just wasn't imposing himself in the game. He wasn't showing what we know he can do, and that may take some time. It may take that strengthening, doing some weights, just to strengthen himself up, because the Premiership is not an easy thing. At times, he was getting pushed off the ball too easily. In the maybe in the Bundesliga, you get a free kick for that. Not in the Prem. Look, they make the substitutions, and Lord and behold, we've been playing deep on free kicks, set pieces, and what do? We push up, high line, Konate doesn't win the ball, and they're in on goal, and it's 2-2, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And I was frustrated, I was feeling, no, this you could see it coming, why can't we see this coming? And I'm not going to blame the coach, because it's not for him. This is the players solving situations on the pitch, and they weren't. But what we do have a coach is a coach who looks at things and starts to think about what can be done to make the change. He brings on Harvey Elliott, he brings on Inga Moa, and 90 plus minutes, a nice bit of possession. Probably the first time we had possession for the whole half like that. Probably about 15-20 passes, and Salah ball in, and a fantastic dummy by Szoboszlai, who had a great game. Let's be honest, at right back, Szoboszlai had a great game. Yes, in terms of cutting in, he wasn't great in the width, but he did well as right back, and a fantastic dummy. And Lord and Load, Inga Moa in to finish. Keeper no chance. Look, couldn't believe it. 3-2 up. We robbed the bank. We robbed the bank, and we get away in a getaway car before the police car. That's literally what we did. Yeah? Newcastle deserve more, and I'll admit that. However, when you want to be champions, you'll have games like these. You can be self-critical about your performance, and we should be self-critical. I'll be critical of Konate because I see things in him that worries me, and I want him to evolve, and I'm not seeing it, and that's a problem because it makes the team disjointed. I'll be critical about Kirkes because Kirkes is not playing the same confidence that he did before, which is sometimes understandable joining a new team. But the first goal, I'm not happy with what he did. He should have just tried to head of the ball. He didn't. I'll be critical about Jones. Jones, after he went 1-0 up, a great ball by Salah, should have banged it in. Simple as that. Even Salah showed his disappointment. You've got to be better. You've got to be more clinical. You've got to show that you've evolved as a player. But we got the result. And if you can play badly like this and come away from St James's Park with a 3-2 win, you take that. You take every day of the week. Now, my man of the match, when I look at it overall, would be Ekitike. Szoboszlai was close, but I think Ekitike will be my man of the match because I believe he worked hard against two towering defenders, and he just was really composed, and a great finish. Let me know what you think. Let me know who's your man of the match. Hopefully we'll have news of Isaac coming to Liverpool. It'll be interesting because I know the owners was at the ground, and so it'll be interesting whether they try to make an approach to Isaac in terms of trying to sort out this impasse, or whether they're looking to just finalise some deals and get it done out of the way. It'll be nice, hopefully we can get this sorted and signed and out of the way, so we can have an end to this saga. But in Ingamoa, 16 years, 361 days, youngest ever Liverpool goal scorer. What a talent. I've seen him from when he joined Liverpool. I know he played at Chelsea before. I have been concerned about his strength, but I know he's been playing 15 higher age levels, under 18s, under 21s. So you'd expect that. He's been playing for England through all the youth groups. This boy hopefully will be a great talent. What I don't want to see is another Ben Woodburn. I don't want to see another Jordan Ibe. I don't want to see none of that. Hopefully he'll be wrapped in cotton wool. His family clearly look after him. Hopefully we sign a first professional contract before his birthday come some point this week. It's just, I hope this boy really just shows what he can do and doesn't play too much. We bring him at times. I know it's going to give a headache now because we have to decide, is he going on loan? Whether I can't see him going on loan. I don't think that'll happen. But look, when you turn up and you score the winner for Liverpool like that, you start to make a name for yourself. Say the name, Rio Ingamoa. Say it right, because hopefully we look a future star. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, click on notifications, and talk to you after this.